Hello, I'm opening PowerPoint, choosing a blank presentation, and I'm going to delete the first slide by highlighting it and pressing delete. So today I can show you how to create a great slide using an image and text. So we go to Insert and click New Slide. We look for blank and press blank with the left mouse key. That gives us a blank slide to use. Then we can open Windows Explorer, go to where our image is, and we simply drag our image into PowerPoint, and PowerPoint pops that image into the slide. We have our picture. So just zooming out a little here so I can see more of the screen, I can click the picture and click one of the white circles in the top left, bottom right, top right or bottom left corners. And this will allow me to make the picture slightly larger so that I can position it so that it covers all of the white that's behind it. And you can see the white there when I drag the picture. So that's our aim, to get the picture slightly bigger than the white space. So the picture is now bigger than the area of the slide, so we want to crop it. And in that, in the Format menu, we click Crop, and the black bars in the corner can be selected with the left mouse button. Hold the left mouse button and you can move that up and down. And just behind there you can see two different shades of grey, and the lighter shade is where the area of the slide is. So we adjust the picture to there. And we can choose any of those black bars to move up, down, left or right, and to align to the area of the slide. Once we've done that, we can left click the picture and we can move it up or down to decide which area of the picture we want in the slide. So in this picture, if I move it up a little, then I'll see a little bit more of the tree at the top. You can adjust that to how you want the picture to show. Then we go into Slideshow and just click From Current Slide, and we check that the picture fills the whole of the white area. Okay, so now my picture is where I want it to be. I'm happy with it. I can click Insert and I can look for the text box button. Before we click that, a quick word about this picture. This picture is quite high contrast. If you look at the tree, you can see it's very dark, as opposed to the sky, which is very light blue and white, and then the trees are green, obviously. But that's going to make it a little harder to position my text. So we're going to have to think about that and see how it comes out. So let's take a look. I click text box, and then I can start typing into the text box the text that I want to type. This slide is going to be about green space in London, and my first point will be at 47% of London is green space. As you can see, that's quite hard to read at the moment. So I can adjust the text box by left clicking the corner arrows and using those. And I have a drop down here. I can change the font size, and I can also do that in the Home menu by highlighting all of the text and going into fonts and changing the size. I'd suggest 32-point font is a minimum size to think about in PowerPoint. I can then choose my text. If you're lucky enough to be using Keynote, you'll probably have Helvetica. You may or may not if you're using PowerPoint. I haven't got it. But another font I'd recommend you use is Arial Nova, you'll find here. Nice clear font. And here we see that the black isn't especially great on the green, so we're going to do something about that. Click the color button and change the font to white. And I can click on this text box and drag it to the corner. I click on it again and I press Control C at the same time, and then I press Control V. I'll get exactly the same text box. And I'm going to drag that down to the middle of the slide. I'm going to press Control V again and drag that to the bottom of the slide. And I'm just going to adjust these a little bit now. Now you may be asking why I'm saying the same thing 3 times. Well, I'm not. This is so I don't have to start a new text box and format it each time. I use the same font and size and color as the original. So I can now use the second text box in order to make the second point that this slide is going to make to my audience. So I edit the text box to make the second point that I want to tell the audience that 33% of London is natural habitats. And then I can edit the third box to make the final point of the slide. And that is to say only 5% of London is nature reserves. You might be quite surprised by that. So this is my point of emphasis that I want to make in the slide. I want to surprise the audience by this statistic that only 5% of London is nature reserves. So a nice thing you can do in PowerPoint as well is to highlight that. You can put it in bold, and you can even increase the font size to make that only 5% or the 5% stand out. Really emphasizing to my audience the key points by using bold or slightly bigger fonts. Now that I've edited the text, I can just adjust them a little bit so we're in a position that is evenly spread out. And PowerPoint will show you lines when you do this to help you spread the text out. So having left clicked my picture, then right clicked and selected Format Picture, the Format Picture menu comes up on the right hand side. And I can change the contrast and the brightness, maybe the temperature and the saturation, just to make sure that the picture looks good against my text. I'm doing this quickly here as we've got another video on our YouTube site called How to Edit Photo Brightness, Contrast and Saturation in PowerPoint. So do have a look at that for more details should you need a refresher or you haven't seen it yet. So the next thing we need to do is just compress the picture. That's going to save us space and keep us with a smaller file, which makes it easier to share with tutors or other students. So we go into Format and we go across to Compress Pictures. And a box pops up with 2 tick boxes at the top, and we can choose the resolution at the bottom, choose email or web. And then in the compression options, you can apply to all pictures if you have more than one picture, and click OK. So there's just one more thing we need to do here. At the moment, all of our text appears at once. We don't want that to happen. So we click on one of the text boxes, click Animations, we can choose Appear. We can repeat that, click on the second text box. You can choose any of these effects, but Appear and Fade are good, reliable animations. And do the same with the third box. And then the text will only appear on a click of the mouse button or our remote controller when we're giving the presentation. So our audience can't read ahead. They have to focus on what we are saying. I'm going to Slideshow, view the slideshow, click through, and you will see each point appears when you click. And we can repeat exactly the same thing for any slide that we make. Here I've chosen a slide about exercise. You might notice the image is darker, and here it's easier to put the text anywhere we want in the picture because of that darkness. We could choose a lighter picture and use darker text. But it's a repeatable process that's really going to help your PowerPoint presentations.